I was talking to one of our employees and I said, Roger, why Wolf Consulting? Why is this place so special? And he goes, because we care more. And that always stuck with me ever since that conversation.
If people know where they are and where they can go within the company, why do they need to go somewhere else to create that bigger future?
Welcome to this special MSP Leadership and Growth episode of Sunny Silver Linings. Joining Sunny today, we have Jonathan Lamb, CEO, Wolf Consulting. Now, here's your host, the visionary founder and CEO of IT by Design and MSP Talent Authority, Mr. Sunny Kayla. Over to you, Sunny.
Hi, JB. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Sunny. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here today.
I appreciate you joining. I know we had to reschedule a couple of times with busy schedule of CEOs. I totally get it. What I'm excited about today is that more and more young, vibrant CEOs are coming into the channel, and you are that young, vibrant CEO with so much knowledge, wisdom in this new generation, and there's so much happening in the channel, and it's so amazing. Like, it's so creative, so innovative, very transformational. And I'm excited about starting with your journey. So your leadership journey, can we start there, JB?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for the intro, Sunny. Very excited to be part of Lyra and all the fun stuff we've got going on there. So in terms of my journey, went to college at Vanderbilt University in Nashville. Had a lot of fun with country music and all that great stuff. And then decided to join Abercrombie & Fitch's leadership development program after graduation, and specifically was focused on inventory management. And that's really where I got my first taste of P&L experience. So started in women's sleepwear, and then was promoted to running the women's denim P&L in terms of inventory across our 250 plus stores. So a lot of fun, learned a lot of things from a lot of great people, but Sonny, really realized that I didn't quite have a passion for women's denim. So decided to transition into a brand management role at Fanatics, the sports licensed merchandise provider, really helping out with the go-to-market approach for the NHL and NCAA businesses. So a lot of fun in sports, again, another angle of business, and realized that I wanted to become the best well-rounded leader I could be, and decided to go to business school. So in 2020, I decided to go to the University of Virginia, Darden School of Business, really focused on becoming that well-rounded leader, as I had mentioned. So graduated in 2022 and was thinking, do I want to be an investment banker? Do I want to be a consultant? And realized that neither of those were for me. And it came down to, hey, I want to run a P&L. I want to make decisions. I want to be a CEO as quickly as possible. And that's where I learned about Evergreen and specifically Lyra. And all of those things just checked my boxes. And I loved the people that I was interviewing with. And it became a no-brainer to join the Evergreen and specifically the Lyra team, working underneath Elliot Hyman, who is the CEO of the Lyra platform. So in summer of 2022, joined Lyra in the PE operator seat, helping with various operations as that platform continued to grow. And then specifically in January of 23, took over Wolf Consulting and backfilled Elliot as he was growing the Lyra platform and trying to be a CEO at the same time. Pretty difficult. So been with Wolf for about a year and a half now. Have an awesome team of around 50 individuals here in Pittsburgh that I get to work with every single day. And I joke I'm often the dumbest person in the room, Sonny, when I walk into the room with Wolf Consulting, because everybody is so smart, talented, and knows a lot about the MSP world. So I get to learn every single day, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and they can learn so much from you, JB, as well, with so much, very unique background that you have. And, they say, best leaders are when they know that they don't have to be the smartest people in the room. Those are the
Absolutely.
best leaders. So I'm happy to hear that you are self-aware of that and you are living that way, your leadership life. And yeah, so my next question to you is going to be, talking about that unique journey that you have. So all entrepreneurs normally have a very unique journey, because back in the days, people didn't even promote people to service delivery managers if they didn't come from like a technology background, and which was very traditional thinking. I mean, this is new thinking. So talk to me a little bit about, first of all, I mean, I'm sure you must have had other options, run other businesses with now, your educational background, with your experience. But what made you choose MSPs? That's the first part of the question. And the second part of the question is, what are the challenges that you faced in the beginning of your journey?
Sure. So, Sonny, I think for me, what I loved about MSP and specifically Lyra and Evergreen was technology is always changing. So there's always some new things that we can either implement internally to become more operationally efficient or operate externally to that way then sell to clients and customers. So, you constantly have these new things that you get to play with and implement, which is exciting. And then also, what I've learned about MSP and what really boiled down, it's a people business, in my opinion, using IT to be the best business that they can be. And I think that's what gets me up every morning. I love being that partner, that valued IT partner that helps businesses grow. I think all of those things were what motivated me to make the decision to join Lyra and Evergreen and help run an MSP. And then the second point about the challenges of coming in with zero MSP experience, you got to come in being as humble as you possibly can. I'm very fortunate enough, Sonny, to have a fantastic leadership team with, for example, my COO has over 20 years of experience at Wolf alone. And I think that leaning on that experience and combining it with fresh perspectives is what puts Wolf Consulting in the best position to succeed. But it is hard going into those rooms. And I mean, I've got a notepad here. I think I've filled 4 notepads since I've been CEO. And I think that's really important because there's a lot to learn, and walking humbly and saying there's value in this room. Let's learn from it. That's been the biggest point of success for me in this role.
Thank you for sharing that. Humility is my number one core value. And I think people ask me, Sunny, what's the secret sauce behind this whole, you came here as a taxi driver from India, and you're a taxi to tech journey. Like, what can we learn from your journey? And I'm like, be a lifelong learner. Okay. Learn it all, not know it all. Being in those rooms to show up, to learn and ask right questions. So that's what I'm hearing from you. It's just kind of resonating really well with me, that being humbly confident, because you do need, first of all, commitment. And your commitment to MSP channel, you making that choice that, hey, I want to be in people business. I want other businesses to grow, unleash their full potential by bringing my capability to those businesses. Because if my partners, my clients' business will grow, we are byproduct growth of that growth. But that commitment was important for you. First of all, having that clarity, what do you want to do in your life? What that life purpose is, or what good looks like with achieving life success. We call it life by design. And and then really choosing that people business, because it is people business. And then having that commitment first, and then being confident that I may not know it all, but I know what questions I need to ask to learn and grow. And also adding new perspectives from my unique journey and my unique education, which, normally MSPs don't have. I know last 4 or 5 years, maybe 6, 7 years, a lot more education on numbers, a lot more education on P&L, but it wasn't that way before. Now with PE money coming in, everyone probably, first every conversation starts with EBITDA. But it used to be everything started with who had the best script. That's what we used to do in HTG peer groups. But now it's all about business, which is really kind of really where we should have been. So you bringing that business acumen, you bringing that understanding how, how you build businesses and being part of a great organization, the parent, Lyra, it gives you a lot more depth into how to build healthy businesses. And I'm really, 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 really excited about this new way of kind of really MSP leadership capacity building. Because that's going to take the MSP channel transform to a totally new level. So now you bringing a new perspective, right? A totally unconventional. And now, what are some of the most common mistakes that you see MSPs make?
That's a great question, Sonny. I think there are a couple of things that come to mind for me. First is don't go chasing shiny objects. And I know that that's a pretty common phrase in the MSP world. And sometimes I'm guilty of that myself. But I think, something that Evergreen really promotes that has resonated with me is, highlight your bright spots, shine on your bright spots. So what are your strengths and continue to invest in those things and maximize them. And I think a lot of times growing MSPs, they get excited about a new tool or something like that. But think about your fundamentals, make sure you're doing those well, and stick to your secret sauce, as you said. The second thing I would say would be not focusing enough on what the client's business is doing. I think a lot of times, whether it's an account manager, service manager, things like that, they don't really know what the other business does. They have kind of an idea, but there's not a true, genuine interest to learn more about the business. And so, every time that I'm talking to our account management team, when I go out and meet with clients, I want to know, how has your quarter been? What are you all investing in? What's going well? What's not going well? Because all of those things have answers in there for us on how we can unleash success for our clients, right? And then finally, I think consolidation of stack is huge. A lot of times when you're hitting those growth goals and you're wanting to continue to push, you take on those onesie twosies, you take on those clients that might have something that doesn't fit your normal cup of tea. But you really need to focus on that consolidated stack to maximize efficiency operationally. And then you're also delivering the best product and service to your clients. And so try not to veer too much to take on new business just for the sake of new business. So those are the three main things that I've seen growth companies stumble over that we really at Wolf Consulting try and focus on.
That is so awesome. So with shiny objects, when you're CEO, one of the things that we have to do more like have that visionary side as well, that, being able to see some shiny objects, but at the same time being self-aware that we cannot chase all the shiny objects. I want to get into Wolf Consulting unique capabilities and how you are thinking different for your clients, basically. So kind of really give you a little bit exposure to your offerings, and where when you publish this, that your clients can also see the uniqueness.
I think this is a great question that every MSP needs to ask themselves on a recurring basis, right? Because things can change in the environment. And that was one of the things that lately I've been focusing on, communication of value. What are the drivers that genuinely make Wolf Consulting different than everyone else? And I actually took a considerable deep dive last quarter into this and found a lot of data, did a lot of interviews, and what really it boils down to for us, Sonny, is four things. And the first thing is people. And I say that because our people genuinely care more, I would say. So I interviewed current employees and I interviewed current clients. And I was talking to one of our employees and I said, Roger, why Wolf Consulting? Why is this place so special? And he goes, because we care more. And that always stuck with me ever since that conversation, because to me, we genuinely go above and beyond for our clients, whether it's delivering a laptop in hand. Oh, a server goes out over the weekend. go in on a Saturday to make sure the client doesn't miss any productivity and experience any downtime. Those little things, I think we really do. So first and foremost, people. I think the second thing is proactive. So to me, answering tickets and doing that, to me, what it is finding the problems and finding potential potholes in the road before they become potholes. And that includes our tech stack, that includes looking forward and saying what's coming down the pipeline for the client and really minimizing downtime. Because to me, what I've seen in this industry, specifically small to medium sized businesses, is that downtime is such a killer. If you ask any CEO, they all know down to the hour how much their time is worth. And not only their time, but their employees' time, whether they're in a product or service field. And it becomes really easy to see, hey, if a server's down and we weren't, running server checks and being proactive on fixing this issue, that lost 6 hours of downtime. That CEO is going to know how much that costs. And it quickly outpaces whatever the price is from an MSP standpoint. So proactive thoughts and proactive mindset is so crucial to Wolf Consulting and what we do. The third thing I would say is process. So this comes from Lloyd 35 years ago. If you've ever met Lloyd, the founder of the business, he is Mr. Process. And we love that about Lloyd. And that's something that never has changed at Wolf and never will change. Everything from staging a new laptop to admin, how to make sure that the office is kept clean and timely for employees. So it runs the full gamut, and it is in depth. I believe our technician playbook is over 40 pages long now. That probably needs to be cut down a little bit, but it's so important because you don't want to cut corners. When you start cutting corners, that's when you jeopardize not only productivity for your clients, but also security. And Wolf really does a great job of that. And that's something we're never going to stray from. And then the fourth thing that I consider is local feel with world-class reach. And almost all of our employees are local in PA. All of them are onshore within the United States. And that's important to us. We want to be able to get to clients quickly, support as needed. But we have this massive web of 50, 60 businesses that we can call on at any time. And that can be anything from, hey, JB, I'm dealing with this issue. Let me call a CEO that's also dealt with this issue. All of them will pick up my phone call. To, hey, we have a client that's thinking about expanding and building a new facility in California. Well, we have a sister company that's within 2 hours or 3 hours, most likely, that can provide on-site support as needed. And that benefit of local feel and getting that best-in-class service delivery combined with the reach that we have, I think those in summation are the four things, the four differentiators that Wolf has that separates us from the typical MSP in the current marketplace.
Yeah, that is so awesome. So what I heard you say, what makes Wolf Consulting so unique and the value prop for the customers is very people driven, people focused, because we do business with people, not logos, that people are taken care of. And the second is being more proactive, that proactive mindset. There are few MSPs where they are intentional about strategic thinking for their customers. So taking time proactively to think could be from the roadmap building point of view, where things are going for their business and how technology can enable them to get there faster, better, faster, cheaper, that we call it. So how to be more strategic about supporting your customers, not only reactive operational stuff. And then process, businesses could be Starbucks, could be other businesses, why they are able to create consistent customer experience no matter what location you go to or when you go to those locations is because of the process. So having very process driven to make sure that consistency is there. So thank you for sharing that. And now my next question is, I mean, you have been talking about people a lot, and that's like what I'm very, very passionate about, JB. So this question is, how do you think about finding, developing, and keeping great people?
Sonny, that's everything, right? If you're only going as far as your people, and at Wolf Consulting, I would stack our people up against anybody. And the way we do it, it's twofold, right? So you said, bringing in new talent, that's one part, and then retaining that talent is the second part. And really for us, what it comes down to when it comes to acquiring talent is sticking to our core values during the recruitment process. We genuinely use those to take EOS language, hire, fire, and reward. We use those as a North Star to really help us find the right person for the right seat. And also, I think for us, it is a growth plan, right? So for us, for example, multiple people are running interview processes. So if you're a technician, you're going to get the COO, you're going to get a service manager, you're going to get somebody else, because it takes multiple levers and multiple levels to figure out who is the best to really fill those seats. So that's really what differentiates us from acquiring talent mindset, and then from a retaining talent mindset. I think training and development and career pathing is so crucial. So one of the very first things I did when I took over at Wolf was I set up coffee chats with every single employee for 15 to 30 minutes and just said, tell me about yourself. All of those things are important, but I made sure to ask every single person, where do you want to go within Wolf? Like what does the future look like for you? Because if we aren't having people with growth mindset, which is one of our core values, then we probably don't want them to be a part of this organization. It's a two-way street. So getting all of that information, and then specifically, we've really focused on, hey, I'm a tier 1 tech. How do I get to a tier 2 tech? And it's important to provide that roadmap in tier 2 to tier 3 and whatever it may be, because it's not fair to employees to give this vague gray area thought process. We want to make it as black and white as possible to say, we believe in you and we want to invest in you, and here's how we're going to get there. We're really excited. We're actually rolling out empath training right now, which is a great resource specifically for MSPs. It's all about consistently training and developing talent. So that's really important to us. And then also, I would say profit sharing, Sonny. So we rolled out profit sharing for the organization 2 years ago. And that is really important to us, because if we succeed as an organization, everyone should feel that success. It's not just about one person. It's about all of us working together to move the ship forward, and everybody needs to be recognized for that. So that's how we look at acquiring talent, and that's how we look at retaining top talent.
So what I heard you say, JB, is from finding great people point of view, you're very intentional about investing a lot of time upfront, talking to the candidate. So there's a process called top grading process that we use. It's called tandem interviews. So you have like a 2 to 3 people that this person will do teamwork with, talking to them, really looking at things from different perspectives, because it's common to miss something during the interview. It's not like the candidate don't want to, but when you have 2 to 3 people, you're able to bring clarity about alignment and get better aligned. So that's like a great best practice that you shared in terms of hiring great talent. And then from career planning, yes, if people know where they are and where they can go within the company, why do they need to go somewhere else to create that bigger future? They understand. And if you do the coffee sessions, you have that heart-to-heart connect with them, understand what their personal vision of career success is, get it. And then you are able to empower them, enable them to kind of map their needs, their wants to the upcoming opportunities. Then they have clarity. They are not dealing with ambiguity in terms of their career, so that they have to start taking recruiters' calls. So you prevent the recruiters' calls with your coffee connects, and also that deeper, meaningful connections. And again, it's people. And then profit sharing. So when you're creating success, they know that you're going to share that success, the reward side of it as well. That hard work and reward is clear and connected. So I think that makes it more of a retention, top-notch retention. And so I appreciate you sharing that. Anything that I did not ask that you would like to share about yourself, Wolf Consulting, or anything that MSPs can benefit from your experience, you're thinking?
Yeah, Sonny, I would think, I have the sheet in front of me of, the team and the leadership team dynamics, and probably good opportunity to talk a little bit about EOS and how we use that. Something that I feel like a lot of MSPs should know about. And I'd love to kind of talk about how we've been using it. And that's been really helpful.
Yeah, I mean, we use EOS as well here. So I am a little bit interested to learn a little bit more there, if you don't mind, JB. Tell us more about the leadership side and the EOS side. What can we learn from you?
Sure. So we started with EOS when Lloyd was running the business back in 2017, I believe. So we had it for a while. But what had happened was a lot of the people that were trained in EOS and had an EOS implementer had departed the organization or weren't involved anymore. And so about 5 to 6 months ago, we realized, hey, I'm new. We had 3 other leadership team members that were new to the EOS model. And we said, we've been running EOS, but it's like going to the gym, right? So we've been going to the gym, but we haven't quite been doing the right exercises and doing it in the right frequency. So we decided to reinvest in EOS. And we just felt like it was time for a refresher. And so we got an EOS implementer. And to me, I feel like it's been a huge lift for our organization, not only from a delivering business results perspective, but a team health perspective. So EOS L10 meetings every week, knowing what everybody's focused on, creating rocks that are going to drive our organization forward are huge. And specifically, we read 5 Dysfunctions of a Team book by Lencioni all the time. I'm seeing the smile from you, Sonny. So I got to feel like you know what I'm talking about. But I think that book has been really helpful for us as a leadership team to make sure that we're constantly checking on our team health. Every quarter, we do a questionnaire that says, hey, are we hitting all of these areas and highly functioning as a leadership team? Because if we're not highly functioning as a leadership team, how can we expect that to trickle down and to the rest of the organization? And how are we going to perform well as an organization? So the buck really stops with us. And that's just been great for everything from handling conflict to aligning on accountability chart. And for MSP leaders that are thinking about maybe doing EOS, I would highly encourage it just because it's going to set you on a path for success. And, small business operators, there are 10 million things that hit your inbox every day and pull you in different directions. And EOS really helps you create a refined playbook on what you need to be focusing on every single day.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you sharing that. That makes leadership work, teamwork, because when we think about this, so we love EOS. That's why I was like, and Patrick Lencioni as well. I have read all his best books, like Humble, Hungry, Smart, that ideal team player to 5 Dysfunctions. Now he just published a book a few months ago. It's called Working Genius. So we have an annual conference, JB, coming up in September, where all MSPs come to Orlando. And Patrick Lencioni's table group is coming to certify people on Working Genius. So how do you basically create teams based on their unique strengths, their superpowers? What you mentioned, like shining. You said something about your strength.
Shining on the bright spots.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, which he brings like more of a process to it or structure to this, that, okay, how do you diagnose your strengths? So it's a system. And then for leaders, like you need all these different strengths, and how do you assemble a winning team by taking all these different strengths to deliver on the outcomes that require those, like different diverse strengths. So it's a really great book. If you haven't had it, I think I probably have a copy here somewhere. And another book you read, you talk about EOS. So EOS came up with this new book called People. It's part of the Traction library. And actually, I shared my thinking in this book as well. They interviewed me to talk about the people side of the business along with the EOS. So highly recommended book because EOS traction to everything else. It kind of really gives you a perspective on how do you create team alignment, right? So when you talk about the company scorecard, we have a team GPS that we use, which is our tool, which is more like Bloom Growth and other tools where you can run your meetings, your one-on-ones, your weekly L10s. Now, the entire company, they know the vision because your 1 year, 3 year targets are there. Your BHAG is there. Your marketing uniques are there. So everything is there in terms of one pager kind of a business plan where what is the most important piece for the company, kind of a co-created plan, right? So that's amazing. Now everyone kind of contributed to create that 1 year picture, 3 year plan. So it's not just, Sunny's plan or JB's plan, it's about team plan. Then kind of, okay, now if we want to get there, how do we define outcomes? And what we should measure and manage every week, every month, every quarter, because it's at the end of the day, it's a roll up, right? The future, future is a series of todays. Future is a series of weeks. So if we can kind of really take a pause in the weekly L10s and review where we are going, whatever is off track, you said, okay, what do we need to do as a team to bring it on track? So it kind of gives you the compass. And then overall, the to-dos that will help us get some of those numbers back on track. So the whole meeting structure is so beautiful, that 90 minutes meeting that where you talk about, but not everything must be a shiny object. You got to be able to understand what is important, but then pick 3 to 5 things, right? EOS calls them rocks. And then what is an obstacle for those rocks to get the outcome, or to-dos? And then you have like a lot of time to discuss those ideas, right? The issues, the discussion piece. And so I love that system. And I highly, highly recommend anyone listening to this, if you're not using EOS, this can be a game changer. It was for us. And I'm glad that JB, you brought that awareness and the reminder. And one thing that, I want to ask you, so what are you excited about? From Wolf Consulting overall vision point of view, what are you most excited about for this year?
That's a great question, Sonny, as always. There's a lot to be excited about. I think for me, I'm excited for us to really continue to grow with Copilot and using AI, and not just, using it as a revenue generation tool, but as a tool to help us be operationally efficient. There's lots of fun things in that area beyond just Copilot that we're looking at that's really exciting for this year. And then also, I think for this year, I'm excited. We've had some promotions that started at the beginning of this year, and seeing those individuals continue to grow, namely Craig being promoted to COO. And then we were able to create a director of service role, and then a new service manager role. So we've had some nice lifts in the service department, which are well recognized and well deserved. And seeing those people on their growth trajectory really excites me. So automation and people seem to be the things that I'm most excited about in terms of where Wolf Consulting's going this year.
Thank you for sharing that. And good to know that you're kind of on top of AI and automation, because that's really important for businesses and our clients, because we are the trusted technology advisors for the customers. And every CEO that I talk to of SMB, they are going to their MSPs and asking questions. Hey, what does it mean for me? That if Wolf Consulting is at the cutting edge with the tools like Copilot to overall thinking about AI and helping clients think about their AI roadmap. That's amazing. So that's very, very exciting. So thank you so much, JB, for coming and joining and sharing your thinking, your experience, your wisdom, your insights, a lot of valuable insights and a lot of new perspectives. This is probably one of those top episodes where it's going to be very unique, fresh perspective coming from an MSP leader, a CEO. I appreciate you coming and sharing. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Sonny, for having me. Enjoyed the conversation as well, and look forward to seeing you in Florida here soon.
Thank you for watching Sonny's Silver Linings. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you next time.